What? Why is the stream screen black? That's kind of weird. Do I have the second monitor off? No, it's on. I guess I have the capture card in front. Kind of bizarre. That is weird. Alright, well, thank you guys all so much for stopping by. Apologize for the black screen on the right. We're supposed to have a second image on the second monitor. I'll get that rolling in just a second. But as always, I'm Eli, and Tuesdays and Thursdays are our Q&A session days. So I go through and answer all your guys' questions that you had for my videos. Of course, as I've mentioned many times before, there's no topic that is off limits. Scratchum says music too. Oh yeah, we don't even have music playing, dude. What the heck? Wow, talk about amateur hour over here. The music I can fix. That I can easily just throw up. As we just did right here. But yeah, so anyone got any questions? John Boy, for some reason you're not popping up. I don't understand that. It says that John Boy is on the other side of the screen, but I'm not seeing him via restream. That is weird. Is this an older video? But it says music too. Maybe it just updated. I don't know, man. This is great. What is this? This is my starting soon. No, that's not it. Where's the second monitor? Travis is T. Oh yeah, it's the restream.io chat is not updated. That's the issue. Man, fun times as always, ladies and gentlemen. Fun times as always. We always got something going on with technical difficulties, but all right, cool. Now things are going. It looks like, kind of. Am I in the video? What? Am I dumb? What the heck? Yeah, okay, we're good. Yes, we're good now. Wow, that was so bizarre. It was not working for a second there, but you're good now, John Boy. But alright, thank you guys so much for being here. Scratchum, Sure TCG, Babe Cakes. Meeting was canceled, so here to watch the stream. What's up? Heck yeah, baby. Travis is here. Webb's waiting to hear about Evolution Premium Collection reprints. You and me both, brother. John Dell, what's up? I am having a not too shabby day. I actually am going to cut the live stream probably half an hour short. I am having a follow-up doctor's appointment today, so I'm going to be getting the results from my MRI, so that'll be fun to hear what that's going to entail. But yeah, no, definitely gonna be definitely gonna be scary. But all right, so let's go add secondary monitor. There we go. Weird. Isn't that kind of bizarre? It's kind of weird. It's Control D. No, Control. I always forget this every time what the control command is to fix this. To drag. Sava Nate, yo, what's up, good sir? Tom, thanks for stopping by. Travis, how is everyone? How you been, Eli? I've been okay. You know, just obviously settling in, just doing the same old from a work perspective, trying to get things rolling with the local game store, and then as always as well, just trying to do my best. Whoa, what did I just do? Well, that was new. That was an interesting one. Do not click Control Z is what I just learned. Control Z will destroy everything. But what was I saying? Yeah, and trying to do my best, obviously, to just get everything going, man. I'm just trying to freaking figure out what's going on with this with how to expand the second monitor. Someone wants to help me out with that. There's a control command that I'm supposed to input, and I for some reason cannot figure it out. That allows me to like drag frame it, and I can't figure it out. Swamped with everything today? Yeah, so I mean today, as far as what the plan is in the agenda, obviously we got the live stream, and then I have my appointment with an MRI to see the results of my MRI, and then after that just some more business things that I have to take care of. So and then obviously we just announced that we're going to be releasing the other mystery packs, which that's also extremely exciting, so really stoked about that. Just, you know, trying to get things all figured out with the storefront location, because there's been so much been going on with that. So a lot of things going on, but gosh dang it, man, I'm sorry for the distraction, guys. I really want to figure out how to drag and scope this. I'm trying to figure out what the control command is. Maybe it's not troll, maybe it's shift. Oh my god, it is shift. Aha, that's what it is. There we go. I was wondering how to make it work. Alright, cool. Finally got it all figured out. That way I can now have it to where everyone sees everything, and you can guys see what was on my last Tcgplayer account. But alright, holy crap, now that I have no distractions, I can go through and answer people's questions. So sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I've been alright, Travis, going back, answering your question. Just a little stressed, overwhelmed with everything in life, but same old, same old. You know, when you try and be as ambitious as I am and do everything, then, you know, it's hard not to get stressed out about things. James S., what's up, dude? Glad you're here. Webb says, you know they reprinted them, right? Well, I don't know if it's confirmed that they've been reprinted, Webbs. I do know, obviously, that they showed up in Walmart, but we don't know if that was an old supply. We don't know if that was retail exclusive. Obviously, prices have dropped, which have been nice, and we can go look at, you know, Jolteon Premium, you know, VMAX Premium Collection. That's what we'll look at. VMAX Premium Collection, and we can see like what the prices are on these items now. Like, how much have they dropped? Not really much, but you know, we're hoping to see a correction, obviously. Wrath, what's up, Wrath? Thanks for stopping by. Wolfie K, woohoo, always proud to make it to a live event, even if it's for a bit. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you guys once again, as always, for stopping by. Do you think that Pokemon is not reprinting booster box to keep the prices high so that people buy from Pokemon Center and no longer buy from LGS? Highly doubt that. That would be a really dumb play, and I don't think that's kind of what they're doing. I think specifically the whole idea of buying from the Pokemon Center to begin with is if market prices get too out of control in terms of being above MSRP, then they'll throw it up on their site. But in reality, they could care less about their general booster box sales. I think what they're more concerned about is the playable aspect of the game, because they really want to push that, obviously. And so for them, they care more about the local game stores. So I highly doubt that. But then, yeah, going back to what Tom was saying, swap with things, yeah, just general business stuff. Obviously, doctor's appointments that I have to leave for it too. And then, yeah, just more work stuff. So just more work stuff that I'm really excited to be going with. So there's a lot of things I really want to start doing with the channel, and I'm really hoping to get there with that. So that's why I've really been, I mean, recently what the main focus is going to be, obviously we have a new website design for those people who have not seen it yet. It's actually pretty cool. It's a beta design. We have a bridge project that we're going to be working on, and we're going to add more, but we have our obviously, you know, third wave of prize packs for those people that are interested in, this time a little bit more expensive but much better odds. So really excited about that. But yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, for me personally, just bridging the gap in terms of getting everything rolling with the LGS and trying to transition into being a lot more entertainment aspect as a channel is what I'm hoping to do within the next couple of months here. Obviously, there's still so many things that we're in the works for. So, because if you look at my content and like my quality, I've been doing, I mean, as far as viewership goes, we've started to see an uptick again. I think that really has to do more with just the time of year, because during summer, you tend to see engagement drop off. But I mean, you look at my most recent videos, right? My lowest video so far has had over 2,000 views, right? If you look at my last, 7 videos, I think, we had, majority of them were anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000, which is great. I mean, that's a great engagement rate. And so, channel's still doing well. Obviously, live stream viewers have dropped off a little bit. At one point, it was like we're averaging 60, 70, and now we're like maybe in the 40s, I want to say. So, of course, that's always a bummer, but at the end of the day, really trying to hone in on doing YouTube short videos, increasing the quality of content in terms of production for the videos we shoot, really trying to push that aspect out more is what I want to focus on the most. I would love to get to a point where I could literally be like, all right, today I'm going to sit down and for literally 10 hours, what my job is I'm going to sit down and record 12 videos that I'm going to post for the next month, and it's going to be something I just boom, 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 just post, pre-post, and then have someone edit it, and it's going to be all related to, obviously investment videos, Pokemon openings, Pokemon product reviews, like everything. I want it to be everything. I want to be extremely ambitious with it. So for me, that's just kind of what's going on right now, and that's what I've been talking a lot with my business partners for when we get the LGS rolling. Because one of the biggest transitions that we really want to make with the LGS is, obviously I'm a part owner of it, but we want to make it a transitional partnership with Pokemon USA, where we're going to, of course, use the LGS to get a lot of sealed product from opening our resource channel for distributors. But I will also want that transition to be where a lot of that extra product is used for breaks, it's used for mystery packs, it's used for, Pokemon USA specific product, it's used for, a lot of things that are from an entertainment perspective, because that's kind of what I'm looking really to bring in terms of value, I would say, to expanding on the LGS. That's what I really want to do. That's going to be the main focus moving forward, I would say. But as for answering your question, Wolfie, on when the LGS will actually open, so we're gonna have a soft open on the 19th of October, but the hard open is going to be on the 28th, if I'm correct, of October. So kind of what our whole plan is we really want it to be family friendly focused. Say that 10 times fast. And so with family friendly focused, I think the biggest thing is that we want to push a lot of kids to be in an environment where the parents feel really comfortable with them not being surrounded by the stereotypical, and I don't mean to be offensive for you guys that are Magic players, but, Cheeto dust, doesn't look like they understand what a shower is kind of mentality. And so for us, we want to really breed an environment of immersiveness in the store, and we want to create it to where you have so many cool experiences that you can have in the store that really allows you to indulge in the world of Pokemon. And so that's kind of the push direction forward of what we want to do with our store. There's a lot I don't want to disclose in terms of our ideas because I don't want people to steal it, but I have a ton of cool concepts. Because when you go to all local game stores, at least for myself, every single local game store I've gone in either looks one of two ways. Either it's the copy and paste, we've got product on the shelves and there's desks sent out and people are playing games, or it's the this looks like a place where someone's gonna get taken into a white van. It's one of the two. And so we want neither of that. We want our own design that we think would be really cool to stand out for itself. So but yeah, and it's gonna be opened back home in Oregon, so I'll be flying up for that on opening week, so excited about it. I think it'd be harder to reprint ETBs than booster boxes. Oh yeah, 100%. Always harder to reprint ETBs than booster boxes. That's why booster boxes get more prints and ETBs do better historically from a percentage perspective. just because it's easier to reprint booster boxes. There's been like 2 sets of each evolution found in Walmarts. Yeah, man, it's funny. Obviously, I told you guys my experience back home in Oregon at Walmart. Well, now moving to Arizona at Walmart, there's like nothing on the shelves. But it's interesting because in Target, there's so much product on the shelves in Target. So it's kind of a bummer because I'm like, why not Walmart? Where the evolutions are. Hope all goes well with your MRI. I appreciate that, Babe Cakes. Thanks. Have you talked with Mason about any tips for starting an LCS? No, I have not talked with him about it. You know, I did watch a live stream video of him and Northwoods, so shout out to those guys. Really good video, obviously discussing it. So for me, in terms of value, I definitely feel like it's something that I should reach out to him about, and I haven't really thought about it because if I'm honest, I'm not really like that well connected with him. Like obviously I'm pretty well connected in terms of other PokeTubers that I can reach out to, but I've never actually like met him before, you know what I mean? Like I've met obviously Nostalgianomics, I've met Ava, I've met Jake from Pokenomics. Like I've met a good amount of YouTubers that range anywhere in between a couple thousand to upwards of 10,000. So it's not like I don't know a lot of people in the PokeTuber world. It's just one of those things where it never really crossed my mind. Because I've just never met him before. So it'll definitely be something worth reaching out to about, and maybe I can do an interview with that on the channel, or that'd be something cool. It's been a while since we've done an interview collab, but I think it's because most of my recent YouTuber peers that I was closer with have stopped doing videos for whatever reason. Nostalgianomics hasn't posted in a month, and Ava's on and off because she's working, doing an internship in Chicago. So, it's definitely something that is quite interesting, to say the least. But I heard the boxes were different, like the box texture, date of the back were different, so I don't think it could be old product. Hey, well that's at least optimistic, Webs. I hope you're right on that because I'd love to see more product. But it sounds like it's only been Walmart so far, so the question is just going to be when's that going to transition, you know? Investing on a budget, something like $200. That's your question. What would you do if you had $200 to invest in a budget? I mean, bro, you know what my personal opinion is right now is I'm a huge fan of putting up prices for the Silver Tempest. I think the Silver Tempest booster box is going to do extremely well. I'm a huge fan of that. Obviously, if you can get, you know, Shining Fates ETBs or Pokemon Go ETBs or Evolving Skies ETBs at a really good price. And by Evolving Skies ETBs, I mean, obviously, I mean, if you can get it for like $35, $40, you're chilling. For the other two, if you can get them for $40, you're doing pretty well. I mean, obviously, time frame is what matters on what we're talking here, but you know what my number one pickup on my video was, where I talked about playing the wave strategy, which I'm excited for that. I hope that video does well. So, but yeah, that's what I would say you're gonna try. I would personally try and shoot for those specific items. I mean, we can go take a look and see what the trend value is of a lot of those items at the moment compared to everything else, but I'd be hard pressed not to just go with those ones. Yeah, I just love those items at this moment too much to want to go with anything else. I mean, you could go Vivid Voltage or Darkness Ablaze ETBs as well, but I think that those other ones have just such great value. Because Pokemon Go ETBs, MSRP for these is $50, and they're going for in the low 40s if you're just buying one. So, you know, that's great. Obviously, Evolving Skies, if you can get it for cheaper, then do that. So, but obviously, booster boxes, you know where my heart is on that one right now. Polion V Alt Art spiked because of competitive play. Ooh, I'd love to look at that. Web says, let's take a look at that, Webs. Let's see what you're referencing here. Because if that's true, that would be interesting to see. Ooh, you're right. It has spiked in value. But it's weird because alt arts typically don't spike in value. It's the standard art that would. As long as this Pokemon's in your active spot, your opponent's base of Pokemon in play have no abilities except for each Pokemon with a rule box. Pokemon V and GX, etc. have rule boxes. I mean, that's quite interesting. I'm curious as to what, is it just a stall card? Is that what it's used for? I mean, I assume it was probably used in a tournament and some people were like, wow, this is crazy good. It looks like it's been something that's honestly been on the rise in the past year. I think that's great. I honestly think that's great to see. I've always been a fan of the alt art for this card, and I think it's good to see. But is that something that's just the standard Empoleon does? Or is there another Empoleon that has that? Yeah, I mean, the full art does as well if you want the cheaper version. But here's the question, does the cheaper version climb in value? Yes, it has. All right, so competitive card in general, just all of them are climbing. That's good to see. For short-term results, would you pre-order a booster box case of Silver Tempest or get 3 Charizard UPC pre-orders for about $50 more? Oh, easy answer, Gabriel. 100% Silver Tempest, because you're getting Silver Tempest right now, and obviously not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but you're getting Silver Tempest right now at such a better price point that if, let's say, there's a release of the Charizard or the Lugia design and it absolutely is incredible, and you have some other cool alt arts, prices are going to skyrocket. We already know what's in the Charizard right now. So we know that once it hits release date, what's going to happen is you're going to see people have access to pre-sales on Tcgplayer that didn't have before, because for those of you guys that don't know, pre-sales on Tcgplayer are only available for LGSs. If you're not an LGS, you can't pre-sell. That's why on release date, you tend to see prices drop quite a bit on high demand products, unless the product is like so thin supply that it just keeps going up more and more. You saw that happen with UPC on its release date, where, you know, once it came out, people that had secured their pre-orders from GameStop and other locations, they were like, all right, well, I'm going to go on Tcgplayer, now I'm going to flip it. I think you're going to see that happen on opening day versus Silver Tempest. You're getting in at the pre-order low. Unless you're saying to yourself that, okay, I buy a case, $95 a piece at Game Nerds, shout out to them. My thing with that is I'm saying to myself, okay, what's going to happen? Is it on release date? Let's say prices don't move up. Are prices going to go down to $90? Are they going to go down to $86? At the end of the day, I just double, triple, quadruple down at that point, because I think it's going to be awesome. I think there's so much value that's going to be in the set. And it's funny because I've read some comments of people saying, oh, I think it's going to be overhyped, but we don't even know what's in the set. So, I mean, we can't make that argument yet, other than the fact that we know there's going to be a Lugia, and history has shown us that every single Lugia set that's ever been made has always been one of the top performing sets in its era. So, I don't know. That's just something I like to consider. I mean, you think Black and White, Plasma Storm, #1 most expensive booster box set. You think, of course, Neo Gen, most expensive booster box in the Neo era. I mean, I can obviously keep going on, but we don't have to. Do you think a collapse in other big name games will be bad for all TCGs? I mean, I would assume so. It'll be bad, but it won't naturally affect it in an intense way. It's kind of like how, if you look at it like at the economy, right? You've got the United States economy, you've got China's economy, you've got a lot of different economies in Europe, right? If you have another economy that, you know, let's say it's a top 20 for GDP growth, or maybe a top 10, right? If, let's say, one of those bottom half of the top 10 collapses, like hypothetically speaking, it's obviously going to play effect on the overall economic or the world economy, but it's not going to drastically affect the overall individual value of each of the top performers to an extent where it's of major concern, because it's something where you obviously have an influence from cross gaming, if that makes sense. It's kind of like when you go to tcgplayer.com, you know, TCG is not just Pokemon focused, it's focused on a lot of different things. And knowing that within the competitive landscape, that one specific card on an index, more or less, of collectible card games doesn't perform well, I think that more or less just causes an emotional reaction or a fearful reaction to the rest of the community. But obviously it doesn't directly impact it doesn't directly impact things, because they're not tied together. You know, it's not like if a new Pokemon set release that looks amazing comes out, Magic's all of a sudden gonna boost, or vice versa. But obviously, if you see that there's a shift within the general market of trading card collectibles doing well for Pokemon, then in the general market, there's more than likely also going to be an up boost in terms of how the other collectible card games perform but they're going to have their own individual values to scale. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. It's like all tides rise sinking. Even a tide rises. Something about a sinking ship. No, tides rise sinking ship quote. I always do that. A rising tide lifts all boats. There you go. A rising tide lifts all boats. That's kind of the whole point with that. What's up, Jones Drew? Thank you for stopping by, brother. Hopefully all is well. We're able to get yourself another. So obviously I've had that question a lot because Danny Phantom has posted a video saying, oh, new Charizard. I assume that's what you're meaning. Wait, SDC? Were you able to get yourself another SDC? Like, when you say SDC, do you mean like another distributor? Sorry, I read that wrong. We're in the process of it, yes, if that's what you're referencing, if you're saying distributor. 30 plus viewers in here, can we drop a like, please? Eli, out. Well, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, help the go out. Let's go, Trax Phantom. Elbow cough, virtual hug. You got this. I appreciate that, Trax. Rip Magic players, JK, right? No Cheeto eating dorks allowed. I know it's stereotypical, but I mean, when you think of family-friendly games, like Pokemon is a lot more family-friendly. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Pokemon obviously has some elements of it that is not family-friendly, but from a branding perspective, it's associated with Nintendo, and what has Nintendo always been? Extremely family friendly. So you want a piece of that IP. And that's one of the reasons why I think that I'm very hopeful of the future for trading cards for the new Disney trading cards. I think that's potentially got an opportunity to absolutely crush Magic. Like, I think you could destroy if they truly make it a competitive landscape. However, I highly doubt it's going to eventually become that, because Disney's always been known for their Imagineering, especially from an artistic vision. Like, they have some of the best art designers in the entire world. And so I would like to see that translate into cards. And I think collectability wise, that's what's going to be a huge influx. What's up, Card Palace? Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully all is well. Quayshawn Fullerton, hey Pokemart. I have a question. What do you think about Galarian Rapidash from Chilling Reign? I mean, in terms of just as a card, in terms of from an investment perspective, in terms of competitive playability, are we talking full art? Are we talking just the regular card in general? I mean, I have a lot of questions on when you ask what you're saying, like what was your general question when you say that, right? And we can take a look. Obviously, let's go seal product. Obviously, I love clicking the wrong item. Cards. I mean, the art design for the card is really cool. If we're talking about the alt art here specifically, the value of it right now. Let's look at a full year perspective. It looks like it was climbing for a little bit here, and it's kind of plateaued. I mean, I guess when you ask me that question, what specifically are you referencing? You know what I mean? Like, are you saying, what do I think about it from an investment perspective? I'll re-answer your question when you drop it down with a little bit more explanation. Miller, I jumped on the Silver Tempest training. Heck yeah, baby. Congratulations, Miller. I'm definitely excited about it. I'm thinking it's going to be a good set. I'm hyped about it. Big congrats, passing 4K subs. Well-deserved. Keep up the great content. I appreciate that, John Doe. Thank you. Yeah, no, I was like on my phone. Like, I kept refreshing, like, we're gonna hit 4K, because literally like 2 days, like before I posted yesterday's video, I was sitting at roughly around like 398 or something. So I was like, I'm 2 away, but I know I'm not gonna get it till I post a new video, because my like viewer amount had like slowed down from the previous video that I posted. Because if you think about it, right, my Friday videos, like, they taper off after because the weekend starts, right? So, or sorry, my sub count for weekend videos. Holy moly, I'm having a stroke. My sub count for Friday videos tend to taper off, and my general sub count tends to taper off, obviously, once you start hitting like Sunday, because I don't post content on Saturday or Sunday. So it's one of those things where I knew I wasn't going to get those extra viewers until it came to me posting another video, which, you know, posted the video. I've gained, I think, 15 subs since my video I posted. So I've now hit 4K and I'm really excited about it. And I can't thank you guys enough once again for the love and support. We need a live opening packs until I hit 10K. Yeah, oh my god, we're gonna go with the, oh my gosh, that's all I do is I just post a video of me just opening packs, and it's like a full, like 7-week live stream of just me opening packs. Do the Danny Phantom route. Oh god, I could never do that. That'd be terrible. I'm so far away from that. Do you think the Evolving Skies Noivern alt art is currently undervalued, John Doe? Let's take a look. The Batman design. The Batman design for the Noivern. Do I think it is undervalued? Good question. All right, so, ooh, I mean, let's look at its yearly performance. Yes, that's a great point. Wow, that's a good point out, dude. Honestly, I would say yeah. The fact that it hasn't had any movement whatsoever, and it's a cool alt art, right? Especially, like, I know Noivern's not like one of the big character names, but you gotta give it a hand in terms of its overall artistic design. I think it's really good. So the fact that it hasn't made any movement compared to the majority of the alternate arts, that's crazy. And it's not like it's one of the worser ones. Like, it's one of the, it's the next best up outside of the popular characters, right? I mean, even Duraludon, how's Duraludon been doing? Let's take a look at them. I mean, it hasn't done much either, but I mean, who cares about Duraludon? But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm biased in that regard in terms of Noivern value. So it's hard for me to say, but I would make an argument saying that it's definitely going to be, I would say it's undervalued. But I don't know, like I said, what do I know in that regard? But man, that's an interesting point out. Huh. Wow. I mean, so this really comes down to, once again, I've harped on this many times before, character value is, it's massive. It plays a huge role in terms of overall value of cards, kind of like how we have a Gyarados Rainbow as one of the first page cards that you can pull, which is passing a bunch of other alternate arts because no one really cares about a Golurk or a Duraludon alt art V or a Medicham. But I mean, still, you would say the Noivern, I would at least have expected to make some movement there, so I would definitely say it's undervalued for sure. It stops the Comfey Lost Zone engine, which is most of Lost Origin decks right now. Ooh, that's crazy. That's kind of cool, dude. I want to play the new deck designs. They seem like they could be really fun. I stopped after Fusion, but I've always been a huge fan of the Lost Zone designs. It's counter to Cameron and Comfey. I'm considering buying the ST cases soon. Hey, like I said, man, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. You guys do your own research and your own opinion, so don't feel pressured that you have to do one thing or another just because I recommend it. What's up, Hashcatchem? What's up, my guy? Thank you for stopping by. Thumbs up, subs up. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the subscription, Pokebronx. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Have you gotten a sense of initial print size of Silver Tempest about the same as Lost Origin? Yeah, that's kind of what I was told. I was told the numbers for this set are about roughly the same. So with that, of course, all being said, it's a one-wave set again. So that's why I think it could potentially be a good investment. So because if it is something that you do see extremely high demand for this set, based on the fact that there is a Lugia and we know it's a one-wave set that's the same size as Lost Origin, I expect the value for this to skyrocket. Because if you guys remember what the last two-wave set that we had was, it was Brilliant Star, and you remember how the prices of that skyrocketed, leading up to the overall release of the set, and that was a two-wave set, and we're going to a one-wave set for something that's going to be extremely high demand. So I think it's going to be great. Great info, appreciate it. Tcgplayer opening comic book marketplace October 4th. That's pretty interesting. Ooh, Skippy, that is very interesting. I definitely think that I think you're gonna have a whole list of issues in terms of condition quality. I think what the future of what Tcgplayer really needs to do, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the direction they're going to go, is they need to make a PSA marketplace. Like, that needs to be their main focus on things. Because if you can make a marketplace for PSA graded cards, I mean, I think that's the future, right? Like, the competitive landscape for that will be absolutely massive. And that's one of the biggest things that CGC has been really good with comics. I mean, that's what they're known for. So I think that if they're getting into the landscape of comics, I would not be surprised if that's another direction to go. Is it easy to sell on Tcgplayer? Yeah, it's definitely easy. It's easy to list for sure. Skippy says, easy to list, tedious to ship. I mean, that's about accurate. It depends on what you're selling, of course. You know, shipping has always been a pain in the butt. If you can easily make a pirate ship account and get good discounted rates, so that's a very casual way of doing it. And honestly, if you're just trying to sell general cards, like you know, let's say a $150, $200 card, you can always go and, you know, go to pirate ship, grab yourself a bubble mailer, do what you got to do to protect it, and then print off a $4 print label, or have a printer that you can just cut it out and then tape it onto. So it's tedious to an extent, but if you have the right resources, which, I mean, it's pretty simple once you get everything set up and you want to make it more than a one-time thing, then it's not super tedious. But if it is a one-time thing, it can seem tedious for sure. How long has it been since we've had a set with Lugia as the main chase? A very long time. The last set that we had with Lugia as a main chase, I wouldn't consider Vivid Voltage. I know that people might consider that just the staff card. I would not. I would say the last set with that would probably have to be Lost Thunder. Lost Thunder is definitely, because let's think about it, guys. So we've had obviously had our Silver Tempest set get released. Since then, we haven't had any main Lugia cards. Sun and Moon era going back to it. Lost Thunder, which obviously had a small resupply, which is why I think Lost Thunder is extremely undervalued right now from what we've seen it being at. Then you go back to XY series. For XY series, it was Ancient Origins. You go behind Ancient Origins, it was Plasma Storm, then Call of Legends, then Heart Gold Soul Silver. Was there a Lugia in the Platinum, Diamond, and Pearl era? Yes, there was. I guess if you want to count Secret Wonders in terms of that. And then going back to EX series, you've got EX Lugia. I mean, you've always had Lugias, at least one set that's going to have a big Lugia card, and we're just going to get ours, you know. But yeah, I mean, just think about all the booster box prices for the XY era, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're talking about the value of what Ancient Origins brings and the value of the Lugia, there's no denying that it's valued with that Lugia for a reason. Obviously, Lost Thunder before the print, as I mentioned before, or the resupply, booster box prices were absolutely insane. I wonder if, I mean, that I would assume caused a corollary effect in price drop. Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, so it's been since the Sun and Moon era. It's been a while. Rudy's, this is financial advice starts in such a funny note. It's true. Shattered Reflection, congrats on the 4K brother user. I appreciate that, thank you. Consider the spike and then pulling out. Would it be a smart strategy to check out alt arts with same types as the main Pokemon upcoming sets to get at a cheap price? I mean, you could say that, but if you look at what necessarily the Empoleon does, sure, don't get me wrong, it obviously is a type that correlates with some of the competitive decks right now, in the landscape, but the reason why the card's good has more to do with just that. It also has to do with its ability and with the current meta and how it's a really good counter for the current meta. So I think you have to look more at it from the perspective of what does the alt art ability have. Because if you just say, oh, well, if I find any sort of water type alternate art, but that water type alternate art is garbage from a competitive perspective, then it's not going to matter. You can't just throw any sort of water type. You have to really understand what the competitive landscape is to determine a lot of those things. Lorcona already said it will be casual, not competitive. Interesting. Okay. It's going to be casual, not competitive. So yeah, it's going for art designs then. As a future investment in terms of the Galarian Rapidash, that's your question. Okay, so let's go back to it then with Chilling Reign. Let's go back to it. So, I mean, I don't think necessarily it's a... How do I say this? I mean, you guys obviously know my stance on what I think about alternate art designs and just card investing in general. I think there are certain times and opportunities to do so. However, if you're asking me the general question of whether I think right now is it a good investment versus just long term, I think it could do well long term. Obviously, alt arts have proven that they will do well. However, do I think now is a good time to get in? Probably not. Prices have increased by well over 50% within the past almost year now. So for me, I don't think I see that as a good opportunity when we could potentially see Chilling Reign reprints, which sounds crazy, but it's still within rotation, so it's completely likely to happen. You know, I would have gotten in at the bottom at that point if it were me, if I were trying to go in on it. But I mean, yeah, I think it'll do fine long term. It's just going to be like any other alternate art. It does have a really cool design, I will say, so that's probably going to add some extra value to it because the alt art design is really pretty. So I would say it'll do well. Would I buy it now? Probably not necessarily. I mean, this could easily turn around at any point once you're reaching your prior highs. So that's just my personal opinion on what I would say from that perspective. What do you think your bulk that's less than 0.1 per on TCG? What do you think? Whoa, hold on one second. What do you think? What do you do with your bulk that's less than 0.1 per on TCG? I mean, for me personally, my strategy has obviously changed since we're now buying bulk. Before, what my strategy was is I would go through, sort the competitive cards that I felt were worth money sorting through, and then sell them, and then all of the other cards I would send in to bulk buyers. But obviously bulk prices have kind of dropped quite a bit, and so I was kind of sitting on the sideline for a while, but I just obviously, you know, started a partnership for bulk buying, and so all of those cards have now been listed for sale elsewhere. So it's really hard, man. It depends on how you want to look at it. Are you the type of person that wants to look at it from a long term and say, I'm going to sit on all of this sealed product and then hope that prices go up in the near future for bulk? Or are you someone that just wants to quick flip it? Because if you're wanting to quick flip it, then obviously you go to a site that gives you the best rates for bulk, which we're closed right now, and we had the best rates for a while there. I don't know who the next person up that's open, if I'm being honest, because a lot of the places are closed. So with that, it's kind of hard to say what you necessarily would do other than hold at the moment and wait for better prices, because you're probably only going to get a penny a card at this point. But if you really need the money, then I don't know, I guess then you would just, you know, send it off. It just can be, it just depends on how much you're sending in, though, because shipping prices can really crush you once it starts getting really heavy. Cedrius, do you not have Silver Tempest pre-orders? So I don't have Silver Tempest pre-orders at the moment. We are going to be adding break packs soon. I'm holding off on that because there's a lot of things that are going on with the local game store in terms of what we're going to allocate for the opening release of the store and where we're going to be putting it on the website. So that's a huge aspect why I haven't put it up. But you guys will know soon enough if I'm going to be adding some. 100% breaks are going to be involved, but we don't know how much is going to be in terms of booster boxes and ETBs on the site. Zard UPC mass printed? More than likely, it sounds like it's going to be mass printed, especially if you're going off of what, if you're going off of what Danny Phantom says, which I trust him. I think that a lot of people actually, LGSs still see Pokemon as a kid's game. Magic has full events and nights devoted to it, and Pokemon is a table of 4 people. LOL, Magic survives because people play it. No, 1000%, I agree, Andrew. Magic survives because people play it, and there's no doubt that Magic is a much better game, no question asked, from a competitive landscape, and it is a much better game in terms of an archetype build. As someone who's played a ton of competitive card games in my life, biggest one being Hearthstone, I've harped on that quite a bit. You know, it's not, you know, seeing how the deck building is for Pokemon, it's terrible. It's not good. Like, it's fun because it's Pokemon and I love Pokemon. Ooh, sorry, shaking the screen. But it's not good. It's just not good. And so for me, Andrew, that's why our focus is going to be pushing, it's going to be pushing the aspect of creating an environment that people come back to for the purpose of more or less indulging within the area that you're surrounding yourself with. And that sounds kind of weird saying it that way, but it's kind of like when you go to Disneyland and there's a lot of people that don't buy season passes, but they'll go to downtown Disney, and it's because they love to indulge themselves in the environment that is Disney. They love to surround themselves with the overall environment. And, you know, obviously that can turn into sales if you're talking about downtown Disney and Disney Springs. So it's one of those things where we kind of want to be that for where, hey, you come into our store, you love being in our store because it's a really cool place to hang out and shop at, you know, whether you are someone that wants to get in the competitive landscape or not, that's great and all, but we're not trying to be a store that's extremely super serious and try and really, you know, push that competitive landscape for Pokemon specifically, because we're very aware of our target audience in that regards, and we're very aware as well that competitively the other games are much better, you know, so that's kind of what we're just pushing more on, is our target audience on what we think will be better, and that's just, you know, the collectability aspect, and it's the immersiveness of the location. Empoleon is good, yeah, exactly. With hard times starting and even harder times down the road ahead, it's hard to see how Pokemon will keep its edge without larger number of players. From a competitive game perspective, yeah, I mean, you definitely need more involvement. I mean, you see people like Tricky Jim, obviously, are doing a great job of staying alive, and they make fun Mimi decks. But there's a lot of things that need to change within the game, I would say. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of aspects that you could really change within the game that I would love to do. I grabbed him in ES Noivern for under 25 shipped. It's a good looking card. I think it will do well. Well, shout out to you on that one, man. Good pickup. UT Long, thanks for stopping by, man. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're, wow, I am struggling today speaking, I guess. Thanks for stopping by. James S, thanks for the financial advice. Hold on. Non-financial advice. I'm going big on Silver Tempest. Well, heck yeah, man. Glad to have you for along the ride. eBay standard envelope comes to Tcgplayer. That'd be amazing. Oh yeah, I mean, you gotta imagine something like that's gonna happen since the buyout. It's just only a matter of time. Eli's right with Silver Tempest. Grab some booster boxes now with a good chance of Altart Logia in it. And if not, could go down to, exactly, it's a great dollar cost average right now. It's a great dollar cost average point where if you say to yourself, 95 bucks, I'm buying it at 95 bucks. If it does well, congrats, you made money. If it does bad, congrats, you get a better opportunity to buy in cheaper and double down. That's how I like to look at things. And that's the thing, guys. You have to look at this from either one of two ways. Either it's a quick flip or it's a long-term pickup that you double down with dollar cost averaging in on. It's kind of like how I said when we had the Evolving Skies reprint initially. I had said that, yo, if you go and buy Evolving Skies at 120, I said I'm not going to fault you for it because it's not a bad pickup for if the price drops down to 100, 105. I said for me personally, 110 was a better price point because I felt like that was more realistic, which it ended up going way below that on the first initial, final print wave. First initial final print wave, that sounds weird. The first initial release final print, because there was 3 waves. So it's one of those things where for me, I knew that, hey, if you want to start picking it up at 1010 because you want to be conservative, because you think it's a high demand set that'll do well, then pick it up at 1010. And if prices continue to drop, you pick it up at 100. Your dollar cost average is now 105 if you split evenly and picking it up at both times. Congrats, you more than, you averaged your price down by $5. Same concept would apply here. I'm buying at $95. If prices go, let's say, to 86, my now dollar cost average, if I were to do a split amount, is going to be roughly around what, $91, $90-ish dollars, around that price point. So you're saying to yourself, hey, dollar cost averaging $4 above MSRP for a Lugia set, that's incredible. Like, there's no way that you can say to yourself, even if the set is overhyped and it ends up being overwhelming, it's still going to be a Lugia set at the end of the day. And Lugia sets point to a Lugia set that's done bad. Like, I'm talking about literally name one Lugia set that has performed poorly. Like, you can't name one. And now maybe someone in the comment section is going to prove me wrong. We can go look at that. But every single Lugia set that has one of the Lugias as the main chase has performed extremely well. It's just how it works. It's a strong performing card. It's kind of like Charizard, You have a set that has a main pull Charizard, it's gonna do well, right? And by main pull, I mean like it's hard to get the card, right? Because you can't just say, oh well, this set has a Charizard in it, therefore why did it do bad? It's like just because it has a Charizard in it doesn't mean it's gonna be good. It has to have a main pull Charizard, how do I want to say this? Like a full art Charizard or a rainbow Charizard or a shiny Charizard, full art. That it has to be something that you chase. It can't be like, I don't know, a regular character rare Charizard that is 1 in 10. Like, you're gonna pull it really easy, What do you think about Glaceon VMAX Alt Art? How will it do? I feel like it's an undervalued card given the artwork. An undervalued card given the artwork, I'm gonna probably highly disagree with you on that one. We'll see based on what my charts are saying here. That's another thing I actually want to take a look at, because here's my general indicator, John. Obviously I know Sam asked the question, but I want to talk to you guys about this. Here's my indicator on if a card is overvalued versus undervalued. If the raw card compared to the PSA 9 card is almost the same, that's where I think it becomes overvalued drastically. So let's go to the Glaceon, for example, and take a look at it. And let's say Tcgplayer price versus PSA 9. So PSA 9 is 141, I would say, and then TCG is 132. I think this is too close of a spread. I think this is overvalued, no question about it. Then if we go to the Noivern, I would love to see what the Noivern value is. And maybe you can say that, oh, well, you're wrong, like prices on this card will do well long term. But look at the spread on this. Look at the spread between, it's more than a 50% spread. That's a really good spread. You want that in terms of grading, because you're gonna have value opportunity. You go and grade for 22 bucks right now, you miss on a 10, you hit a 9, you're still making money. That's what's important to look at when you're talking about general spreads. So if anyone wants to know my secret on whether I think a card is either overvalued or it's going to correct, obviously you can look at it from a short-term or long-term perspective on whether you say it's undervalued right now. That's a different conversation to have, but I would say as far as it goes right now, what I like to look at it is PSA 9 TCG, is the 9 have a good enough of a spread? Noivern has a really nice spread. The Alt Art Glaceon doesn't. If you're looking at it from a long term, sure, you could say it's undervalued. But short term right now, I think it's way overvalued and it's going to come in for a correction. Whoa, what's happened? There's no chat. Well, Scoopy, so you are currently in the Twitch chat. That's why. Which that reminds me, man. I'm wondering, like, obviously I do a dual stream because I want to get exposure for both Twitch and YouTube, but YouTube's algorithm is so much better. And in terms of Twitch, it's like, unless I literally say, hey, everyone, go over to Twitch so I can start ranking myself up on the charts higher, which I could technically do that, but I've just heard a lot of people have negative experiences in terms of, you know, Twitch and how they treat their streamers. So it's almost one of those things where I wonder if it's worth it to even do something like that, you know? But I don't know. When do you think you'll reopen your bulk submissions on your site? End of the month in October. That's it. Once we open the shop, that's when we're going to more than likely do it again. We just need the space to be able to store bulk cards. If Celebrations doesn't print anymore, how would you compare its print size to other sets like Hidden Fates, Shining Fates, CP? So in order from what you just listed, Shining Fates most print, Hidden Fates second most print, Champion's Path, and then Celebrations. That's how I'd probably rank it. Actually, no, sorry. I would put Champion's Path below that. Champion's Path is at a lower print. So, because Shining Fates got printed into the ground, like we've had so many reprints. Hidden Fates has been printed quite a bit, tons of reprints for it. Celebrations has had also a decent amount of reprints, or waves, I should say, and then Champion's Path has had 2 waves. So, Champion's Path definitely the least. If a set is only good competitively, is it a good idea to sell the sealed product before it goes out of rotation? That's a good question to ask, and I think we can look at the charts for that, because that'll be a really good one to kind of look at. So just go Cosmic Eclipse, right? We actually have looked at this before. I think we've answered this question actually, now that I think about it. And we'll just have a conversation about some of the competitive cards, right? So Chaotic Swell was an extremely viable competitive card. And the price of it was at 82 cents. And this is after the rotation. I remember it was going for around $1.60-ish, and now it's down to 25 cents. Competitive value of this card has absolutely been crushed, right? So value of this card, just nothing's been going with it, right? Then if we go with the ultra rares, right? Let's take a look at the Dialga Palkia card. And we just look at the yearly value. I mean, this card has obviously been going up. I mean, the value of this card has been going up. The question is, has it gone up because, you know, it's still used in some competitive formats? Has it been going up because it's, you know, still competitively viable? I mean, those are questions obviously you got to ask yourself. You know, we can go over to Unified Minds. Unified Minds is another good example of what we're going to show. Because this was a competitive landscape set. Let's go back to Ultra Rares. Let's go to the Mew and Mewtwo. Where is it? Do they not have a regular one? Am I tripping? Do they never? Yeah, there it is. I was wondering where it went. Value for this card. I mean, the value has still gone up on the card. So it's still done well, you know, when you look at it. Then let's go from ultra rares to uncommons. And I feel like we've at this point already come to the conclusion of what the answer is, but we'll still look at it. Just where is my reset stamp? Yes, remember when this card was worth $1? Yeah, I mean, look at prices have just continued to drop. But especially the reverse foil. Jesus loves me, that card's crashed. So here's the deal. In terms of when you ask the question, if the set is only good competitively, is it good to sell the sealed product before it goes out of rotation? Not necessarily, because you have to look at it from one of 2 ways. One, if there's an aspect of collectability to that card as well, then I would say that it's still worth holding on to. Obviously, the trio Palkia, Dialga, Arceus card, you know, it's out of rotation, but it's still a pretty collectible card. Mew and Mewtwo Tag Team is still a pretty collectible card. And so you've seen the value of those cards still stay strong, but if you look at all the other cards, like, you know, Reset Stamp or Chaotic Swell, these cards have absolutely tanked in value. So it's really the trainers that have done the worst. The rest of the cards have done fine. Like, they obviously haven't, you know, they haven't been more or less tanking, but I would definitely say that in terms of if the card doesn't have a collectible aspect and you're saying to yourself, I don't know, let's say like a set such as
Rebel Clash. I mean, Rebel Clash is a set that's worth 240. Do you say to yourself, oh, well, competitive landscape is over. It's time to sell because it's going to crash all of a sudden? Well, obviously not, because the print for the booster box is extremely low, and so for that reason, it's a collectible item at this point that is going to retain its value as long as it doesn't get printed. So I wouldn't say that that's necessarily a thing that I would consider in terms of overall value, because when it comes to competitive cards, a perfect example I would say to like kind of go against that is look at trainer toolkits. When the first 2021 trainer toolkit came out, it was incredible. It had scoop up nets, it had capture energies, it had scoop up nets. For these you guys that don't know, they're going for $5 a piece. Trainer toolkits you can get for below $20. Trainer toolkits come with 2 of the capture energies, so that's $10 in value right there, and 4 packs. And then you come with a bunch of other competitive cards that are worth money. Why is no one still picking that up? Why is the value of that sealed product stay down, even though the competitive cards have, you know, at least the scoop up nets have retained their value? I would say it's completely undervalued to that regard, but it's just because people aren't looking at it from, oh, I'm valuing this booster box or I'm valuing this trainer toolkit because of the competitive cards in it. People are saying it's not collectible. So booster boxes, elite trainer boxes, they're collectible. People like to collect them, and so for that reason, it's still going to it's still going to hold the collectability value of it, because regardless of whether you enjoy the set or not, if you want to master set Sword and Shield, you're going to have to own a Rebel Clash booster box for your overall booster box collection. So that's why I would say it doesn't really work necessarily that way in a negative aspect. What do you mean when you say Silver Tempest is going to be only a one-wave set? Well, Sergio, during the pandemic, you had the Pokemon Company split things up into print waves. Like you had Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3, because they weren't able to pump out product as quickly because of supply chain issues. And with that, the Pokemon Company has started to catch up with supply chain problems. And so they're now pushing everything out in one wave. However, interestingly enough, they've also adjusted to demand as well. And so the prints of the waves have also gone down slightly. So prints on waves have gone down. And now instead of it being wave 1, 2, 3, now it's all at once. So that's what I mean by that. Any things you would want in the store from a craft point of view? Maybe a fossil dig corner. Oh, that'd be funny. Hey, that'd be cool, John. I mean, obviously, we should be able to go in once we have the lease in hand on the 1st. So we'll have to really go in and decide how we want to set up the space. But I could see that being extremely messy unless it was like a setup table that you would do. It could be a cool concept for sure. I don't know how you would necessarily set that up, but I do like the idea of something like that. But we have to look at the space and see what's going to go where before we see, okay, we got extra play space, what are we going to do with it? The risk reward on Silver Tempest just looks super good. 100% agree, Koga, and that's why I'm not going to shut up about it. I didn't shut up about Evolving Skies, and I'm not going to shut up about Silver Tempest. So we're back to it, baby. The train where Eli doesn't shut up, and then we create a video on whether he was right or wrong when the prices for the item were at 95, and we can make that, and we can make a video of we react to Eli's #1 video pickup, and then it'll be back when it was $95, and then it's just me going like, my brain is so huge. No, I'm just kidding. So dumb. But I don't know, man. I just like pointing out the opportunities, and you know, if it happens, it happens. Why are UPC selling for $200 when there's 2 waves? Well, I mean, because the 2 waves haven't gone to fruition right now. Like for myself, I've only got my own Wave 1 allocations. I was just informed, obviously, by Danny's video that there's going to be another wave, but I haven't got my numbers on it. So that's one of the reasons why. And then 2, the product hasn't even been released yet, and so everything's on pre-sale. So, you know, we have to get our numbers for whatever 2 looks like, and then obviously we have to wait till the rest of the market, or the scalpers that are going to resell their item for a lower competitive price compared to other resellers is going to make a drastic effect on the market. So those are the main reasons why. Just wait for the set release, and then you'll start to see prices come down to reality. What kind of product has or do you think will be the best during a recession, especially harsh ones? Well, I don't know, Gabriel. Are you talking about you want it to still perform year over year, month over month, or are you saying from a long-term perspective? I guess that's my first question. Do you know if Disneyland in Tokyo, Japan has started any Pokemon collaborations with Disney? No clue, but that'd be really cool. I'm not a, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Disney fan, but not an expert in terms of Disney Tokyo. I wish I could afford the Lugia from Neo from the early days. That card is solid. Yeah, you're right. It's a sick card, that's for sure. So as a fellow competitive player, what would you suggest to local stores or people like me who are fighting for table space at these places to attract more people, or just things we can do? Hold on, let me read this one more time. So as a fellow competitive player, what would you suggest to local stores or people like me who are fighting for table space? So are you asking that as a question to have a better experience at these Pokemon events? Okay, so I wanna understand this correctly. Are you saying that you're fighting for space compared to the other? Are you saying, like, as a fan of Pokemon, how do we what do I recommend to local game stores to push Pokemon competitive play compared to these better games? Is that what you're basically asking? Red Leaf Hunting, hello everyone, congrats on the 4K, man. I appreciate it, thanks, brother. Oh no, my innocent eyes, Derek says, right? LEG, howdy y'all, thank you for stopping by. Ari Sky, thank you. Twitch also has more annoying ads. Twitch recently, not in a good spot right now either. Koga says, hey, you would know best from it too, Koga, because you stream all the time on Twitch as well. Yeah? Do you also stream on YouTube? Because I follow you on Twitch. I think you're literally the only person I follow on Twitch. How do I join the giveaway? Make sure you're subscribed, Magma, and then leave a like and comment on any of my pre-recorded videos I post. Champions Path ETB confirmed, right? It's been a resupply so far, Webs. It's not confirmed reprint. It looks like just a small leftover product for now. How much of the larger print of Shining Fates puts a damper on long-term prospects for Shining Fates? It doesn't put a long-term damper on it, in my personal opinion. So as far as it goes right now, it's on back order because the product hasn't arrived yet. So we're not seeing the prices play effect into it right now because we're still waiting for the product to arrive. As far as the long-term prospects, I'll say this, I've said it before and I'll say it again, kind of look at Evolutions. Evolutions got printed into the ground. It's still one of the best performing XY era sets, if not the best performing XY era set once you consider the time it's been out for compared to the amount of print it's had, compared to the value of what it's at right now. Hands down, no questions asked. So, I would say that it doesn't really change my long-term prospect of it. It just doubles down the fact that you can get it at a better dollar cost average. Wait on Evolving Skies or buy now? For ETBs or booster boxes? By selling singles, I mean selling singles that I have no attachment to that are high value due to competitive play. Rating Greninja since I expect the price to drop after and I still have one. I think that's in response to Pika. What's your top 5 Sword and Shield sets in order? Right now, it's number 1, Evolving Skies. Number 2, it's Brilliant Star. Number 3, Lost Origin. Number 4, probably Celebrations. And number 5, I guess Shining Fates or Astral. It's a hard one to say. I know that Silver Tempest is gonna take over. So, because for me, Silver Tempest is gonna be 2 or 3, right? So how it'll most likely go, and this might be a bold prediction, but I'm gonna say Evolving Skies, Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin, and Celebrations. Since CR looks to be an underrated set, which alt arts from the set currently look underrated? Well, let's take a look. That's a great question, John Doe. John is always bringing the fun questions to ask. It's what I appreciate about you, John. You always ask a ton of questions that are not the same question I get asked the most, so by other people. So it's always nice because you're always constantly asking new questions. Well, let's take a look at the Galarian Rapidash since that was the last one we had a conversation about. Wow, there's not even a 9 to grade, so I can't even tell you. I guess we can compare it to CGC9. Wow, that's tough, dude. Hasn't even been a 9. All right. Well, let's look at the Blaziken then. Let's look at one that actually should have 9s. Spread's pretty thin. I mean, you guys saw where my chart was. October was what I loved the most, right? You saw what the spread was there. There was one sale that made an adjustment to it, but the spread there was incredible, right? So the spread back in October was great. Value on cards have started to go up, so I'm thinking that the spread is not as good now. Obviously, prices for, grading being opened up again has played a factor, but the spread is too thin, man. Adjustments are going to have to be made for these cards. I mean, we're making an argument here on, are you saying to yourself, CR itself as a set is underrated? Are we saying CR, a booster box sealed product, is underrated? Because based on what I'm telling you guys and my whole thought process around these things, I think the cards themselves are still overvalued. I think that once we start seeing mass grading of a lot of these cards and the population report starts to go up, the value of one of two things is going to have to go true. And to tell me that, hey, we're going to have more supply, therefore value is going to go up, that contradicts supply and demand theory. So it's more than likely going to be that you're going to see a correction when the supply increases for PSA, and raw is going to have to come down with that. That's just what I would say. TT says ETBs and booster boxes. ETB seems a good time to buy right now. Booster boxes are a terrible time to buy, hands down. ETBs, yes. ETBs obviously had a recent reprint. If you're going to buy ETBs, as I've said before, $40 or lower is my price for it. John Doe says, no doubt you're good at answering questions, always an entertaining stream. I appreciate that, John. And like I said before, man, I'm really stoked that you're one of our consistent viewers, because you always are able to ask questions that are great and keep me going. But yeah, no, I think that the set itself is going to do fine long term. It has a lot of really good alt art designs. So in terms of, do I think necessarily it's undervalued? I guess you could say at $100 it's undervalued, but we've seen the historic low of the set. We've seen that this is a set that has yet to get a reprint. All it had was this initial wave 1, wave 2. And so with that being said, it's performed poorly more or less, and we've had opportunities to get in at $70, $75. So if we're talking from a seal perspective, then I would say, yeah, I would definitely still wait. I think you could see booster box prices get a reprint and correct from that. Could be wrong. I mean, it's not a bad price point to pick it up at $90 or $95 or however much the cheapest you can get it for, especially if you're playing a long-term game. But in terms of card value, there's a lot of alt arts that I'm still saying are overvalued, and that's the thing, man. Like, it was nice that you pointed out the Noivern, because the Noivern was a good point out, but just going back to it, Poké Data spread, PSA 9 versus Raw. If the spread is too thin, it's overvalued, price corrections are going to be made. It's just as simple as that. That's just literally how it comes down to, in my opinion. Do you think I should wait to buy Pokemon Center Evolving Skies ETBs until they're about to go out of rotation? Well, that is a question I cannot answer, Miller, because one, Pokemon Center ETBs, they're a beast of their own. We don't know what the print of any of those products is. Obviously, I've told you how high I am on Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. I'm a huge fan of them because I think the value is there long term, but we don't know what the print cycle looks like for these, and if it's going to be something that's going to have a ton of reprints. Is it something that's going to only have one reprint? We just don't have those answers because I don't have allocation numbers that I can go and look at because it's all done on the Pokemon Center website. So that's what I would say with that. Okay, so I hate to say this, but we're down to the last 4 minutes now. I have, like I said before, I have to get ready for my doctor's appointment at 2, so my phone is literally going to go off with the timer at 2 o'clock, so I'm going to have to wrap up before then, so I do apologize. I'm going to go through as quickly as I can, answer the questions, and then we'll move on. Do you see any Japanese boxes growing even more popular in the future? The pull rare guarantees are an antidote to some of the English pull rares. I mean, no question VMAX Climax is going to do extremely well, especially when it comes to its price point. I know that obviously Evolving Skies compared to EV Heroes pull rates have been atrocious for alt arts. But I would definitely say that I think Japanese boxes are 100% going to grow, but I do think it's going to start with these specialty sets that people enjoy, such as VMAX Climax and Shiny Star V. Dude, I can't stand Twitch every time I'm trying to watch live stream. Yeah, so we'll just stick to YouTube, man. YouTube's the play then. Picked up over 50 Evolving Skies with Evolution Tins from Costco to hold for long term. Have you ever seen a deal better than that? Last time I saw a deal better than that was when they had the mega boxes at Costco. They were doing like a bulk buy where if you bought a mega Sharpedo box, a mega just a bunch of mega camera up. It was like a bundle where it was basically buy one get one free. It was incredible. So Costco, always look out for Costco deals. They're incredible. Been in the hobby for 3 years now and haven't seen a deal like that. Costco, man. Costco. I wonder if future sets will only contain fall alt arts like this year. I think they would have more alt arts. You know, it's entirely possible that we could see something like that. I highly doubt it. Going that direction. I think it's just because right now, Jason, they have the character rare subset, and so they're trying to not completely dilute the value of the entire set as a whole, because it just would become too big once you involve the character rares. That's why. And so for them, they're saying to themselves, all right, well, we take away a bunch of the alt arts that are harder to pull, give you character rares that are easier to pull, hopefully balances it out. Which I think that's a fine approach. I just wish you could do both, but obviously then it'd be too big of a set. So what do we got to get rid of? Full arts and rainbows, and that's what I think. But so a set like CR is better to buy after its last print, as the newer Wave 1 sets that are better to buy a few prints after their first print. Wow, that was kind of confusing reading. I think I get what you're saying, John. Yes, it's better to buy after its last print, or it's better to buy once you get to a price point of opportunity that we know is extremely high. So for example, if I can buy a booster box at $86 or cheaper, I'm getting it for wholesale or better. Once it's hit that price point and now you can't buy it for that price point, then it, for me, is something where, well, I know that as long as it's still in rotation and there's a chance of it being reprinted, then I'm gonna wait until it gets another reprint, because I've seen the history of what the price can go to, right? We've seen price of the booster box go to $70, $75. It's at $100 right now. I know that it's gonna be in print rotation for at least another year and a half. For that reason, I would much rather wait for that to either drop after reprint or get in at a better price point opportunity with a set such as Silver Tempest, which I can buy for cheaper right now. So that's how I would look at it. But I hate to cut it off right now, guys. But like I said, my timer is about to go off, so I don't want to end on the timer going off. But as always, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I appreciate all you guys for the love and support. Of course, that's how you enter into our weekly giveaways, by commenting, liking, and subscribing. But thank you guys all so much once